Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and today I'm going to be going over my biggest problem with Wizard101 as it currently stands today. And for those of y'all who don't know, I have been, shying away from doing max PvP for the last, really since the spring update came out, let's be real. But I have been looking to get back into it just so I can give some good max level PA content to you guys, because y'all are what matters to me the most, and I want to entertain y'all with the best way that I see fit. So that's going to be max PvP. But that being said, the reason why I haven't been able to get back to it yet is because I have been trying to get certain stuff to be able to come back and be at all, competitive in this new meta. And I guess, okay, so my least favorite part about Wiz, and this won't come as a surprise to many, but it is packs. Yeah, it's packs. And yeah, this Wallaru Wastelanders pack, this was a major roadblock keeping me from getting back into being anywhere close to prepared enough to get back into PvP. And fortunately, I was fortunate enough to have gotten honestly a lot of these from Cheer Vilex, a friend of mine who was going for the Stormzilla mount back when that was like a whole Crown Reward event going on, and I jokingly told her like, yo, if you need the Zilla, you can give me some Wastelander packs, and that's exactly what she did. I didn't expect her to, but she did, and I got a bunch of the Wastelander hats, including this one. And these are by far the best in slot for pretty much every school, if you're not Storm or Life, I want to say. Yeah, because these give all of that pip chance, and they give accuracy, good pierce, shads, damage. I mean, they give up crit block. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. That is not the most important stat. So having something like this, it's like having the Nullity Robe just as a hat, and that is this hat's whole allure. It's like, it's got a power pin to it, it's got all of these other stats. It's like, this is the perfect piece, and I just didn't have it for so long because it came from a pack. And packs are honestly pretty nasty in this game. And yeah, I mean, y'all already knew this, but the way that it's like, would y'all call it ethical to put gambling in an E-rated game? I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't. I would not. And with there's been more recent packs, and they've been dropping more packs per year. And what I've noticed with these more recent packs, especially starting in the last year or two, is that they have been, it's been getting harder to pull the pieces that you really want from them, like the Wallaru Wastelander hats, for example, because they're adding a lot of clutter. Back in the day, the packs that would come out, they would drop, hats, robes, boots, and wands. And wands were usually the only thing that people would really try to go for. And people were somewhat okay with that. There were better free alternatives, and way back in my day specifically, the Sinbad wands were really, really great, and you could get those from farming a boss if you really wanted to. But now, it's like, you don't only need the hats, you also need, like, Athames in some cases. Sometimes you need amulets, like the Nightmare amulets. They were really, really good for the longest time. And then now you still need the Skyfarer rings, because, I mean, look at all that pip chance. It's like, I wouldn't have 100% pip chance without that. And when you look at my stats for PvP, like, just pretend I have 6 more damage on this, because I don't have Pain Giver socketed on the pet, but these are like the best stats that a myth can get at the moment. Max damage with the Pain Giver. Resist is a little lacking, but I mean, you're a myth. Let's be real. And then perfect accuracy if you run the Crystal Unicorn, and then like above the Pierce cap, which is kind of nuts, and then perfect pips. And I have these perfect pips. Like, I don't need to run like the Skyfarer Athame, or really any Athame with a triangle slot, because I have this Wallaru Wastelander hat and this Skyfarer ring. And pulling the Skyfarer ring and Wastelander hat, they were very, very hard. And that's sort of built in. That's sort of intended. It's working as intended. And what I mean by this is, I made a short a bit ago where I opened the Forbidden Library Horde Pack. It was new in the Crown Shop, and it had just come through to the Loyalty Store. And so I opened up my 3 packs from the Loyalty Store, and I got nothing. Nothing good. It's like the robes are what you want out of that pack, but like new packs, basically where I'm going with this is, they have hats, robes, boots, wands, Athames, amulets, rings, a whole bunch of hats. I mean, there was a lot of like dilution with the pets, and then they'll have mounts as well. It's like 7 different kinds of mounts in the Wastelander pack, at least. So it's like, depending on which one you really want to get, it's like it could take you a while, a bunch of crowns, that sort of thing. And there's also decks now, and I don't know about you, but that's a lot of clutter. It used to be 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, maybe 5 if there was a bet that you wanted out of a pack way back in the day, like the Frillosaurus, for example. Maybe 5 or 6 if there was a mount that you wanted. But the accessories being added, all of these, as well as a bunch of housing items. Like I've cleaned my bag out multiple times, but I'd almost be okay with it if there was some sort of pity system for these packs. And a pity system is just not really something I see them ever taking a minute to implement. Because, like, I doubt we would really need a pity system if it was, you know, still easy enough to get what you wanted out of the pack in a reasonable amount of crowns. But as y'all know, that's not the case anymore. And I think that this problem, it can be fixed. Other games have actually fixed it. I've heard of a system in Hearthstone where it's like, if you spend money on some sort of booster pack or whatever they've got over there, and you don't get something you want after enough times, like say for example you open 10 packs looking for a specific something and you don't get it, it's like it would give you a credit to just sort of pull one thing guaranteed out of that loot pack. And I think that's something that really needs to come to Wiz, and I know I know why it hasn't. Like, let's not, I'll call a spade a spade. It hasn't happened because the packs, the pack model right now is working as intended, because all of the dilution and all of the nonsense items that you get out of these packs is intended. It's intended. And like, this isn't just game ago either. I mean, it started to happen more since the acquisition. The general picture is, they want to make as much money as possible from these packs, and the packs are a really, really great way for them to get the money. And I mean, I could say that so many times, and they wouldn't mind it, because that is exactly what's going on. It's like, you think about the Gulcher's Horde pack. This was a whole thing years ago. It's like, these had the best mounts in the game because they were stat boosting mounts, and like you see, even just on the preview, there are so many of them. And yeah, I mean, and another thing, I was just looking at the Gulcher Horde pack, and I just realized this. Down there at the bottom it says Ancient Persian Boots, right? So those Ancient Persian Boots, I don't know if I have any like sitting in my bag somewhere, but what they used to do a long time ago is they would only make like 3-ish sets, and they would, the sets would give damage, like they would give stats for 2 schools, as opposed to just, you know, having 1 for all 7, which is what they do now. That's why we have, you know, the Skyfarer rings that say Myth School only, and it's, you know how it goes. But it's like, that's sort of a thing of the past. It's like, you could want something, and like you could get like pack wands, for example, like the Sinbad wands. Like the Sky Captain's Boarding Hook gives a lot of damage to ice and storm. So it's like, if you have an ice or a storm, 1 out of those would be all that you need. Like, you only need 1 Sky Captain's Boarding Hook to really be okay. And that's not the case anymore. It's like I've talked about these Wastelander hats. There's a set for every single school now. So before, there was It's like there was Dilution before, but you could use stuff on any school. But now, it's like if your only max is a myth, for example, and you're really trying to get this Wallaru Wastelander hat, you could get, and this happened to me, I got all of the other hats before I got this hat. I actually still haven't gotten the balance one, but this is the 6th out of the 7 for like the schools that I pulled. And that's frustrating. It's like before it wouldn't be so bad if it was like, you know, a fire and myth hat that applied for both. It's like I could have pulled that, I would have had a much better chance of pulling that, and I would have got it, and I could use this on both my fire and my myth, but can't do that anymore. And yeah, I mean, it's been talked to death. I mean, packs are a real problem in this game, and how I feel about it is not really a hot take. It's not news. It's not something you wouldn't hear elsewhere. It's just sort of everybody is really just fed up with how packs work right now, and especially if you're doing PvP, like I'm trying to get back into max PvP, you need these pack items to really be competitive again. Because for a while I had this Dream Stalker hat, and I did okay with it, but I could have done much, much better, and I could have had more, you know, flexibility with pets and mounts if I had had the Wastelander hat back then. Because the difference between the two is I can reliably run fire accuracy and fire spells in my deck, which is what I plan to do. I don't need to run the rock mount anymore to get to perfect pip chance. I can hit the Pierce Cat now. That's another thing. I was a bit short back when I was running this hat. It's like there's the free-to-play stuff that is still competitive, and let's be real, it's like a lot of it isn't, but the free-to-play stuff that is still competitive is just not as good as the pack gear. So this sense of pay-to-win is sort of back, and it hasn't been in the game for a while. It was like, you saw it a lot at low-level PvP back when that was a thing, but it's like at max, eventually they figured out a formula to where it was like you could get by. It's like you could run with stuff that you could get for free. It's like all 10 pieces of gear that you can have. It's like you can get the best set for free for all 10 of those pieces, but now you can't anymore, and it's this whole thing. So I don't know. I just got on ranted for 14 minutes and 28 seconds according to my OBS on my other monitor right now, but yeah, that is going to wrap up. That's just my take on packs, and that's just my least favorite part of Wizard101 right now. It's like pay to win is creeping back into the game, and while it's becoming even harder to it's like even for the people who are willing to pay, it's getting harder to like get the pieces that you want. And I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna change any minds at King's Isle or Gamigo with this video if they even see it, but it's a widespread sentiment, and the biggest solution that I can provide, and it was what I was talking about earlier, because I don't want to make this whole rant video without talking about a solution to the problem here. But the solution to the problem that I see is a pity system. It's like one of the slots for the pack could be taken up by like a reagent or something, like Wallaru. Like for the Wastelander pack, it could be like a Wallaru Tourist Gold. Wallaru Tourist Gold. That could spawn in the pack, and you would be guaranteed to get one every single time. And after you get like 10 Tourist Gold, you could pick something out of the pack. You could just pick out whatever you wanted from the pack for 10 Tourist Gold. And I think that could really improve the situation we find ourselves in with packs. So hopefully that's something that they decide to do at like some point. I'm not expecting it to happen anytime soon, but maybe someday, Tay, maybe someday. So thank y'all for watching. I have been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord's down in the description if you want to chat with me some more, and I will see y'all later.